How did that compliment make you feel? Hmm. Just say. Hello, hey, and hi. Welcome. Come in. Get comfortable. How's everybody doing? How are you doing? How's your week going? It's a Monday. So this is a kind of surprise recording because I was supposed to put out on Friday, but I thought, you know what? The topic at hand is just too juicy. Hence, my juice. Mm. Ooh. It's not what you're thinking. It's not a cocktail. Just relax. It's Monday. It's plum juice. They happened to have plums on special this weekend, so I went overboard and I thought, you know what, why not just make some plum juice? It's hot outside. I need something just to refresh myself. But anyway, without digressing, today's topic, when I tell you that I was going to bring the juice, I brought the juice and I delivered. But it's not as juicy as what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, so just slow your roll. It's juicy, but it's not that kind of juice. So get comfortable, sit down, get something to sip on, get something to drink, whatever it is that makes you feel relaxed. Just relax, sit back. This topic is a little bit tense, but it's not as bad. It's not as bad. It's actually going to prove to be beneficial, I hope. So I have a question. I have a question. What comes to mind when you hear the word affair? Just think about it. Like, what do you think of when you hear the word affair? Because I know what I think of. Am I right in saying that the first thing that comes to mind, you're thinking something physical? Okay, usually it's something along the lines of a sexual encounter, because that's what you're thinking. You hear the word affair, cheating. That's the first thing you think, right? And it's normal because that's the general assumption. But what about an emotional affair? Now, before you roll your eyes and you're thinking, you know what, Shirley, okay, what about it? What about it? Just hear me out, because it has equally damaging effects on any relationship. And it's more common than you think. It's more common than you actually think. So this is sort of like, I don't want to say a segue, because this is the topic at hand today. We're talking about an emotional affair and what to look out for, the signs to look out for, if indeed you are involved unintentionally in an emotional affair. But before we get into it, to spot the signs or to identify, you need to understand what an emotional affair is. So let's cover that for a second. Let's try to understand, or let's just give a brief breakdown on what in fact emotional affair involves. Now, an affair usually starts or occurs when there's an intimate or an emotional connection with a person that is not your partner. So this could be somebody that you go to work with. It's a colleague. It could be the person that you gym with, your trainer, somebody you walk your dog with. I'm just giving you a typical scenario. It can start or develop in any setting. But this is just generally a platonic person. This is not your partner. This is not your husband. It's not your wife. And so these talks start developing, and suddenly you're not talking about work and you're not talking about training. Now the conversation is starting to shift to a more personal level. And with that, you slowly start to develop ideas, or you start romanticizing, or you start fantasizing about the hypothetical what if, what would it be like if, or if I had an encounter, or what if something happened, or sometimes when people take it as far as fantasizing on a sexual level of encounters with a specific person. But with the idea thinking that because it's not physical, it's not an affair. And so therefore it's innocent, right? Because I'm not doing anything wrong, it's just the idea. But like I said, it's still a betrayal because it's something that's starting in your heart, it's developing in your heart. So it is a betrayal of trust, not so? What do you think? Do you think I'm onto something here or not? Okay, so now we understand the basic or very brief idea of what an emotional affair is. So before we jump into the signs or what to look for, this is a two-part video. So our first, with today's video, we're basically just going to be covering what to look out for, the signs, and how to identify that you are or you could be headed that way. And so the second part, we'll be discussing the what now. Okay, so Shirley, I'm stuck in this thing. It's happening. I've identified with 50% of the signs that we've covered. What now? So just bear in mind, we're only covering the first part. The next half, you're going to have to wait for. So now we can deep dive those signs. I have 7 of them. All of them are red flags. Hence why I have my red flag with me today. So let's get into it. So the first one, or the first red flag rather I have, is time. So if you find that you're spending a little bit more time with this particular person, said he, said she, okay? And it's not so much only work related, but you find yourself, or you find that you've started making, or you actually finding excuses to spend more time with this person. And to the point where you're spending more time with said person than your partner. I think when you discover, when you realize that this is happening, this is where you need to slow the brakes and just contemplate the nature of the situation, because that is the first red flag. That is your first red flag. Let's move on. So the second red flag I have is you're sharing your frustrations about your partner. Now, if you find that you're kind of complaining about your partner, or you're not sure on how to handle a certain situation with your partner, and you're going to this person repetitively and you're just sort of seeking advice from this person all the time, something is up. Because you've now developed a level of comfort with this person, so much so that you can, and it's acceptable to speak to this person about your partner or something that your partner is doing or not doing. So something is up. Something is up. How and why are you so comfortable? So the third red flag I have is you dress up to see the person. And this might sound obvious, but just think about it, because I think, okay, look, in general, we all want to look good. Okay, not only do we want to appeal to our partner or our significant other, but you want to appeal to yourself too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking good, spending a little extra time in front of the mirror every day just to look fine, look put together. But now you start taking it to the next level, and you're going the extra mile, and you're putting a considerable effort into appealing to said person. Okay, maybe the person's complimented you before. Oh, surely that dress looks lovely on you. Oh yeah? Thanks. How did that compliment make you feel? Just say. But you get my point. When you're putting that added effort into looking good for said person, you know what's about. Strike 3. Let's move on. So the fourth red flag to look out for is your head is in the clouds. So when you start getting starry-eyed and you start to feel that butterfly effect in your stomach, and it's not your partner causing that, and you know what I'm talking about. It could be just the glance, or maybe the slightest touch, just a brush off the shoulder, or maybe it was a phone call, and you start developing that warm, fuzzy feeling, that you're feeling giddy. Let me put it that way. It's one of those, touched my arm. It's along the lines of, you've just got things happening that should not be happening, and feelings you should not be feeling with somebody who's not your partner. So you know what I'm talking about. That already should be, if that's not sending sirens, forget about the red flag. At this point, the sirens are going off. It's not even to the point that something is not wrong. This is we are going somewhere. Okay, we are going somewhere with this, and it's not looking great. Let's move on to our fifth. So the fifth red flag is, you really understand each other. And you know where I'm going with this, because it's that this person gets me. This person really gets me. You know, like nobody understands you like this person does. We have so much in common. We have similar interests. I mean, my person, my husband or my wife doesn't even enjoy hiking. This person does. I mean, we have so much in common. It's unique. How did this happen? Nobody ever gets me the way this person does. If that's the case, I need a bigger flag. So the sixth red flag that I have is the secrecy. So now you've gotten to a point where you're keeping secrets. And it's not only deleting messages, it's to the point where you're not leaving a trace. It's deleting emails, it's deleting your WhatsApps or whichever platform you use to message each other. It's deleting DMs. You know what I'm talking about. And I feel this is one of the biggest red flags, because the secrecy is always, I feel, the most dangerous, because I feel that you're consciously doing this and you're consciously reasoning with yourself to know that, okay, what I'm doing is not okay. And you know that it's not okay. To the point where you've even decided to not leave a trace. Now you've deleted everything. You consciously know what you're doing. Something is wrong. So our seventh and our final red flag is, how would you feel if the situation were reversed? Now I want you to really think about this one, because as I said, this is something that you can think about from, or sort of understand from your level, from your perspective. How would you feel if your partner had or was developing a friendship with somebody other than you? Would it make you feel some type of way? Would you feel uncomfortable? Would you feel upset? And if it does make you feel upset in some way, then that usually is an indicator to say that your behavior right now, if you are in that situation, is inappropriate. And it usually would lead to an emotional affair. So now that we've covered the 7 points or 7 signs or 7 red flags, I don't want to isolate it to just that, because obviously there are many other indicators that we can look out for and make ourselves aware of. But the point of this video, aside from me adding a little bit of humor here and there, I don't want to drive the seriousness away from it, because this is a topic that's common. This is something it is indeed serious, because it has devastating consequences, not only to the two directly involved, but everybody. I mean, from a receiving perspective, you can only imagine what that would feel like. So the idea that I'm trying to put forth is to create awareness within ourselves, to educate ourselves, just to be alert, because none of us are immune to this. None of us can comfortably sit and say, you know what, this will never happen to me because I'm not that type of person, or I don't roll with those type of people. I don't know which world you're living in, but the world that I live in, temptation is prevalent. It's there. It's all over. So I don't want us to be naive, so to speak, in our thinking. Let's think broader. Let's think not only of ourselves, but of everyone, be it your partner, be it the person that you have a friendship with, because the effects are damaging to everyone, not just to the two people involved. So like I said, this is a two-part video. So the next video will cover the what now, you know. Surely I'm in the situation. I identify with the signs that you mentioned. Even if it's just 1, 2, or 3, or even all of them. What now? What am I going to do? Where do I go from here? And that we definitely will cover in the next video. So I'm looking forward to that, because even though it's better to be safe than sorry, sometimes you're in that situation, but I always believe that it's never too late. It's never too late. So until the next time, I thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I hope that you benefit from today's video. As always, you know what I'm going to say. Comment down below. If there's any other signs that you feel red flags, put them in. Add them in the comments down below. I'm always open to hearing about it. I'm not, guys, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just saying, just put it out there. This is an open invitation. And so, yeah, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. The next video will probably drop by Friday, but it's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be worth the wait. So even though I said I'm going to deliver on the juice, it's not that kind of juice. Okay, it's not that kind of juice, but it is topics that, not specifically this one, but these type of topics, whether it's relationship related or whichever, romantic, friendship, these are the type of topics you can look forward to, that we would be discussing in depth in the future. I am working on a series, but I'm not going to say anything now. So you can look out for that too. But it's in the process. It's in the process, okay? It's in the works. So in the meantime, you guys have a good week. You be safe. You be mindful. You be content. And you most certainly be blissful. And then I'll see you soon. Ciao.